This week, let us bow to the reigns of Her Majesty as we dance the Devil's Dance in Prehistoric Kingdom, and Josh Bycer plays the Miracle Mercher. All of this and more on episode 141 of Indie Game Riot.
Including getting his name right.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Professional.
Indie Game Riot!
Hey everybody, I am Josh M, because we also have another Josh Bycer, not with an R.
Bycer.
Just Bycer, like Bycer. And he is, top left, he is our guest today. He runs his own, would you call it a podcast, I guess?
I get podcast site and I guess the channel, really.
Yeah. Well, it's on YouTube. You mostly do it seems, and like on YouTube Live, and then you upload it and stuff. You want to give them the information on that, just so in case people are interested?
Sure. I run the website, game-wisdom.com. We do weekly podcasts talking to game developers, as well as posts looking at video games, game design. Basically, if it's industry related, that's what I talk about. And the YouTube channel is the video version. So I do indie spotlights, we do live interviews. I just did one earlier today with a game economist. We talked all about monetization and free-to-play design. And basically, it's all about just trying to talk more about what it means to make video games for a living.
Sweet. And, of course, we have Eric M. Hunter over there, since we're adding letters to our names. And so we'll go with Josh first. This is our little, if you don't know, for those who are here for Josh and Josh himself, this little segment is just, people seem to like when we talk about ourselves instead of indie games. So we've kept it in the show. We've asked multiple times. So we always let guests go first because we're polite like that. Would you like to talk about maybe what you're going to do for Christmas, or what maybe more about your show and your website, or just what you've done this week? Anything like that?
Sure. Well, for the holidays, I'm going to actually be working. I do temporary work during the day, so I was fortunate enough to get some work for this weekend into next. Usually I'm hanging home and trying to come up with more stuff to talk about video game related. For the website right now, I'm working on my top 10 games of the year list. You know, everyone does it around this time. I think I just did number 8 today. I've already forgotten what my number 9 and 10 were. I played too many games. And I have like multiple things I'm trying to work on at the moment. I've been slowly but surely writing my own little ebook about video games.
I know how that
feels. Yeah. It's going very slowly in between everything else. And as a very interesting thing, I'm going to be taking some of my podcasts to a radio show in January. Ooh. There's a new radio station opening up in Pennsylvania, and they were looking for interesting guests. Nice. I don't know the name of the radio station, though. Yeah, it was from a friend of a friend. Okay. But I've sent them over a few of my podcasts. I have to get 3 more done by January. And hopefully they'll be broadcasting, I think, to the Pennsylvania as well as, I think, part of New Jersey as well.
Yeah, so you're probably, like, in the Philly area, the radio station.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Philly has a really strong dev scene, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And other than that, I've been playing some games over on the YouTube channel. I've been getting into Grim Dawn, as well as just showing off as many indie games that I get my hands on. I was thinking about playing They Are Billions, if you've heard of that one yet.
I have not.
It's a strategy/zombie defense game where you have to build a settlement that gets attacked by zombies that periodically throughout your whole time. And of course, if a zombie gets to your base, it infects one building, which infects another one, and all of a sudden, all your villagers are now zombies trying to kill you, kind of thing.
Cool.
As zombies do.
Yes. And other than that, I've been looking for more podcast guests for either our live or recorded shows. Basically, while the usual format is talking to people in the game industry, I'm always interested in talking to anyone who's like enthusiastic about game design or wanting to get into it for their first time. And pretty much, I think that's about it. I also do presentations locally in the Cherry Hill or in the greater South Jersey area, and in basically like local libraries. And we're going to hopefully be set up for some stuff in springtime. They basically set everything up like 3 to 4 months in advance, so we're just at the point where we're starting to put some things together and then schedule the days.
Nice. Well, I hope that works out and everything like that. There's there's strong dev presence in the Philly area. So, and to be honest, I think you could probably we know a lot of. Well, I know because Eric's fairly new compared to how long the show's been, but a lot of devs from like the DC, Baltimore, Philly, and New York area that would probably, depending on how big it gets and stuff like that, would probably be willing to join up occasionally. So I'll try and let people know about it that are in the area.
Yeah, thank you.
Eric, how about yourself?
Jesus,
wait, real quick.
Compared to that, gosh.
Hold on, one more time. Prep is going to link your site in the chat. What was the site one more time?
It was game-wisdom.com. You want me to type it in chat? I think I'm...
Well, don't put the .com because it's gonna delete it.
Okay.
So you can just put the first part of it if you want. All right, go ahead.
I just search for it on Apple. I'm already subbed up, so we're good.
There you go.
Nice.
Right.
And then the YouTube channel, same thing. YouTube.com/game-wisdom. I should know this by now because I keep typing it in. Like, let's see. Yeah, channel just game-wisdom. We'll get you there.
All right, cool. And there you linked it. Thank you, Prep. Eric.
Yes.
How's your week been?
Good.
Did you enjoy Distrust? We played it the day after the show.
No.
For people that missed it, you did not. I think you're a little harsh on that game.
Yes.
Yes, you were.
There's nothing to do in that game.
There was too much to do. It was hard to stay alive.
We went around doing nothing. There was nothing
because,
to fear.
At first we didn't know what we were doing, and there was things to fear. The farther we got, you're a little curmudgeon-y tonight.
Well, so here's why. So I watched The Thing.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And Distrust had nothing to do with The Thing. So
I did notice that.
That's where my distrust comes from. Distrust.
I did notice that outside of the fact that it was in Antarctica and there was some sort of alien presence, the Thing wasn't really a thing in the game.
No. It was it reminds me of FTL, where it's like, okay, here's the basic of the game. This is how you play the game. Now go play the game. So you're playing the game, and it's like, oh, it's just an endurance run. Like, I have to make sure I get the right rolls, and I hope that I go the right path, or if I don't,
it was a little roguish.
Death thing, yeah.
More roguish than I thought. Have you ever played Distrust, Josh?
No, I haven't. I think I saw it on Steam like a few weeks ago.
Don't play it.
I think I liked it. I think my biggest complaint was that it puts a lot of, like, in its PR, it puts a lot of emphasis on the co-op. But then when you go and play the game in co-op, it's like you don't get any achievements. The game's easier, so you don't get any achievements, and there's a lot of things that are locked because if you're playing co-op. So it's like you're supposed to play it single player, where you would switch between characters, and then so it's like and to be honest, I think it's probably more fun as co-op.
Oh, sure.
From what I've seen, so with the communication with other human beings. For myself, it was a busy week. I got to show up late, obviously, and from last week, and just between people being sick and holiday shopping and just getting things done. And then yesterday was my wife's birthday, so we were doing that all day, and it was pretty busy, and it's still going to be busy. I did, by the way, if no one noticed, I got new headphones. It's the same headphones I had before, but they're new. Because the other one's broke, so no more shitty earbuds, and I got some other. Because I'm heading to MagFest, not officially under Indie Game Riot, but where the hell is my thing now? Not officially under Indie Game Riot, but I'm going to be networking anyway. Because I'm also, for those of you who don't know, I'm the game Tether. We talked about it a few times. Back in July, I think it was. I got brought on to be their basically community manager / PR guy. Cool. So I'm going there for that. But I'm going to be handing out the IGR business cards, which they're not anything new, but I did also, which I'm also going to be handing out because I'm a whore. I got new business cards for, I'm not going to put my, probably shouldn't put my phone number just in case. But my new business cards for that. Yeah, it's all backwards. Anyway.
Pretty.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before we move on?
Star Wars? You guys see Star Wars?
Fuck you. Don't do any spoilers.
All right.
I did not. I would like to, though. Well, Josh, I think it's a good time to get you hooked on a little bit of the indie news injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an indie news injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
Let's get a little indie news injection with Fez Pocket Edition is now available in iOS. Josh, I thought this game was done, man.
Hot damn. I don't
know.
know.
We're finished with this game.
Well, the guy, Phil Fish, quit his indie life because, fuck his fans, right? But he has to make money somehow.
Stress.
He has to make money somehow.
Yeah. So I guess I don't ever remember them talking about that. This was like something that they had planning on doing for a while, but apparently they announced it a while back that they were always planning on this game coming out into a mobile style, which I'm sure the game would be fine in a mobile setting, but this game's 6 years old now. Like I just thought we were done.
I feel like it would be confused. I feel like it would be confusing in mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not so bad on like an iPad, but like on a phone.
Oh, you mean just because the screen being so small?
Well, just like even the game in itself, like the map is ridiculously complicated for no reason. So putting that on a smaller screen that you have to use touch controls with is just, I don't know, a little. Not to mention platforming on a touch screen seems a little rough on 3D.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm done.
Fez,
$4.99 on the App Store.
I'll put this out here one more time. Fez as a game is overrated. It's a good game. Did not deserve the hype it had. Put that out there.
I liked it, but I didn't fall in love with it either.
See, I fell in love with it because I did the whole trying to figure out the scripted language and getting out pen and paper and diving into it that way, because I wasn't playing a whole lot of other games at the time, so this game like easily just overtook me as being the thing that I needed to play every day.
I could see it sucking up time because there's a lot to do and unlock, but it's not well organized and it's frustrating in that way for me.
No, it's spaghetti for sure.
Yeah,
but I like spaghetti.
Only with some meat sauce.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else you're gonna like? You're gonna like the fact that the people that made Oxenfree are coming out with a new game called After Party, where you have to party your way out of hell, as you see on the tagline there. Night School Entertainment, the people that made Oxenfree, which is probably one of the best indie games that came out last year, if not the best. I think it was even up for like Game of the Year in general in some circles. Had a really cool, not augmented reality. What's the thing where you like leave clues online in like real life? I can't think of the phrase.
I know ARG.
Alternate reality, but you know what I'm saying. They left.
Yeah.
They left like clues and stuff like in real life. Like, there was like phone numbers that you could call that were in the game and radio. It was crazy. It was really cool and really good narrative, and it was mostly a narrative game, but it had some gameplay too. It was pretty fun. But anyway, they are coming out with After Party, where you have to escape hell by besting the devil in a drinking contest. And you're playing as Lola and Milo, two best friends who unexpectedly find themselves in hell, and they soon learn that drinking is the only way out, and thus begins their rowdy evening.
So how do you unexpectedly find yourself in hell?
I mean,
like, did you forget that you kicked that baby? Did you forget that you pissed on that homeless person? Like, come on.
I haven't played Oxenfree. How did that game turn out?
It's fantastic. I love that game. Oh, by the way, I don't know.
Free right now.
Yeah, it's free on GOG.
Yeah.
GOG, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's free on GOG. I don't know if it still is, but it was. So if it is, go get it because it's an awesome game. You'll need a GOG account, obviously. It's not on Steam, but definitely go play it. There's not a whole lot more information outside of some screenshots and the short little shtick there, but it is set to come out in 2019. So year to a year and a half looks like it's going to take. But I'm excited. It looks cool just from the images, and of course they have a good pedigree from Oxenfree. Get hype for that. Eric, what are you going to get hype for?
Trying to get Oxenfree. Hold on. What'd you ask me? What's going on?
Well, what are you going to get hype for now?
What do you mean?
We're going to get hype for mounting each other because we're friends, right?
In 3D.
In 3D.
It's in 3D.
Josh, you want to hop on us?
Yeah,
you
sure.
want to mount?
Want to hop on Pop?
Yeah.
Oh. Come on. No, so for those of you who are fans of Mount Your Friends, which I am, just in terms of a competitive co-op game, it's now going 3D, which is terrifying to think about.
Wait, in that screenshot on that article, is that a Wang?
It's 100% swinging dicks in this game. So if you're,
I don't remember that from. I feel like they were in like Speedos.
You're gonna get an eye full of cock for sure.
Okay, so NSFW warning if you're opening that article.
It's the game's already odd to begin with, but I'm always a fan of this physics-based game. So like right now I'm playing Human Fall Down.
Human Falls Flat.
Yes, which is basically a physics-based puzzle platformer game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking at.
I feel like the physics-based games make you feel like you can pretty much do anything, provided you could just get a small inch of surface to do something on. You know what I mean? Like, it's
like Gang Beasts. That one reminds me a lot of Gang Beasts. Which, by
Gang
the way,
Beasts
Gang Beasts can be hilarious. Some of the gameplay because of the ragdoll physics. So I kind of appreciate it.
Which that just came out of beta.
Early access, yeah. I think not that long ago. You know, it's kind of weird though. These games, these weird physics games, with these like simplistic, almost. I'm not going to say that, but these weird simplistic art styles.
Yes,
is like becoming a genre all to itself.
Yeah, it's a Unity thing, isn't it? Isn't it just like some weird setting in Unity?
What do you think of them, Josh?
I've never been a real fan like those crazy games like Octodad or Surgery Simulator. Like,
I'm actually
to me, the controls are weird. They're like cumbersome for the sake of being cumbersome. It just distracts from me enjoying that game.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to make you rage, though. That's like the point of the game. Just like get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought about putting on a show. I was like, no, I don't know if I can rightly. Like suggest that to people, because every game we put on the show is like, at least in the featured section, is like, hey, these are good games, check them out. But or at least one of us thinks so, because we did Distrust last week.
I played Getting Over, and it was one of those very interesting games. I have a few people who feel that it is just a bad game, just disguised with like very interesting elements. I know El Gordo was watching me suffer for like an hour and a half, like on a stream last week, trying to play through it.
I kind of want to do it live, but I might lose my shit, because I mean a lot of these people have seen me play Cluster Truck and some other Rage games back during Indie Revolution Expo in the summer, and I was losing it, and that's not, and like that game is made to progress just with a lot of challenge. That game, like Get Over, is made to just fuck you every chance it gets. And I played for a little bit, And I'm like, okay, I'm not in front of everyone. I know this is going to make me angry. I know this crap controls. I know what it is. And I still found myself I was ready to crush the mouse in my hand. You know, nice. I was I was holding back. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it can be something special if I do it live, because people tend to like when I play those games that make me have aneurysms. Also, does anyone have nipples like they do in this picture?
Like Hershey Kisses, yeah.
Yeah, you have Hershey Kiss nipples?
Don't hate.
Give me some of the chocolate, baby.
Don't hate.
Give me some of that chocolate.
It's for sale.
You know what else was for sale?
A fake app on the Apple iOS store.
Yes. $5 app of Cuphead was placed on the iOS store. So was it that they basically stole the game?
They completely ripped the game.
It was the exact same game, but the money was going to some random...
Correct.
Was it... I have to assume that it was from some Chinese account, because they don't really follow copyright laws that we have. That's why you see so many clones from China.
If that's true, that's not mentioned in this article.
Okay.
I think the more impressive... I think the biggest thing here is Apple has always been so on the forefront of any kind of plagiarism or any kind of break into copyright that they've kind of locked down their app store to not allow that stuff. And the fact that something as huge as Cuphead has been just in the past couple of months that just slipped through their fingers is a little ridiculous.
So, I mean, do you think it was maybe a... Well, first of all...
I just think somebody was drunk behind the wheel.
Yeah, maybe it was just someone fucked up at Apple. Yeah. But I will say that this is a good lesson in... And we don't follow this advice, by the way, because it's a lot of cash to throw down. But if you're going to put something out, if you have something as big as Cuphead, spend money to protect yourself by purchasing all kinds of URLs that would even be similar to yours, because that's part of what happened here, is that they made a website called StudioMDHRGames.com instead of StudioMDHR.com.
Right.
So to protect themselves, they should have bought that URL ahead of time, so something like this doesn't happen. You know, to prevent those copy websites. Get those slight maybe misspelling. It's money, and you can always people type it in. It's good for just getting people to your site too, because people might mistype it.
Sure, yeah, you just
and it'll forward it
whatever the main site is.
So it just works out altogether.
I do that.
Advice for life from Indie Game Riot, because we are the ones you trust for advice.
Hashtag advice.
Yeah. You know what? I also advise you to check out No Man's Sky again. I know a lot of people were angry about it. We haven't talked about it for a while, which is nice, because there was a stretch there. It was every goddamn week there was something about No Man's Sky. Obviously, No Man's Sky was a lot of people upset when it first came out, but they have been gradually working on it, putting out big chunks of patches to improve the game and adding things to the game. And while there's still not legit multiplayer in the game, people have still found ways to have communities in the game,
right?
Which is really interesting. And they've seemed to be more interactive nowadays with the community that is actively playing the game, because between some sort of event, I forget what it's called, I have to look in the article, but between some sort of event that they had put in, or maybe that's what it was. There was an item or some sort of artifact that they had in the game that referenced something called the Federation, which is a community, a group inside of the game that people that are fans of the game had created themselves. And then the developers decided to add that as basically part of the lore by adding it to something that can be found. And it's just really sprung out of that. And most recently, the players in the game, which I kind of wish I was part of now, because I haven't played it for a while, had their very first war and it wiped out an entire civilization, which is crazy to me, especially in a game that spreads out this far. Do you guys think you would go back in for now that this sort of stuff is happening in the game? Like there's some like legit active community and they're pushing out new stuff. Or do you even have the game right now?
I do not. I don't. My computer will probably blow up if I try to install it. I never grabbed the PS4 version of it. It
is pretty rough on graphics.
But it sounds very interesting. It reminds you a lot of that famous story from EVE Online that was like brought up on like PC Gamer years ago, that there was like a massive backstab, like corporation, like thousands of like real world dollars are lost playing that game.
Yeah, because they actually pay for those ships and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And yeah, there's some crazy economy.
Somebody
stuff.
just wasn't paying attention or something like that when it was going on. Yeah. Yeah, I we had mentioned this the last time we were talking about No Man's Sky, where it's like Hello Games could have easily just dropped this game after it was released and just moved on to something else. But the fact that they're still working on this to make it into something that they've been meaning to make it into for all this time is amazing to me. Like,
yeah, I appreciate that, especially after the shit that they got. Yeah. To be fair, they made a lot of money, so they can afford to spend time on it too.
But they could have took that money and just ran.
Which a lot of people thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
By the way,
they're still hammering away at this game. It's amazing.
The event that I was thinking of was that I think it was the fans in the game. They made it like basically an in-game holiday called Unification Day, where they would bring all the various groups together and be fun. They actually have like games, like scavenger hunts. Like races, stuff like that, and the devs decided to make it real, I think, or vice versa, or something like that. I don't really have time to like read the article again, but just the thought of that is really cool. That they have like just the creativeness. This is why you grow a community, by the way.
Yeah.
The creativeness of the community will raise your game much higher than you ever thought it could be. So.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like Star Citizen. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of that. I mean, it's in that genre, of course, with like in its, especially in its scope. Especially in its scope, but Star Citizen, obviously, talking about scope is way. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with that game. So,
nothing's going to happen with that game. It's just mining Bitcoin at this point. That's all it's doing.
Well, Eric, why don't you tell us what's happening with Itch.io?
I'll tell you what's happening with Itch.io. Boom! It's the first statewide sales event for the holidays.
There you go.
For Itch.io, for those who don't know, is a platform that showcases indie games, much like Steam or GOG or Humble Bundle. I enjoy Itch.io. I feel like they're
very indie friendly.
Extremely indie friendly. They do very well at positioning newer games in terms of curation and that kind of thing. But this is actually the first time that they're doing any kind of sale on the games themselves, site-wide, rather than having the developers do the sales themselves. So I feel like, gosh, how long has Itch.io been around?
Several years. I do want to put out, too, that we have a partner link with them. So just as a transparency fact, that on our site, we have a link that gives us some kickback if you buy games through it. That said, if you want to support devs, Itch.io, and us, use that link on our site, indiegameriot.com. It's on the sidebar. Prep, if anyone is interested, feel free to link in chat. But yeah, Itch.io is super, super friendly, and I wonder, because it's always given the power to put sales on to the devs, like, for their own games.
Sure.
So I wonder if they just kind of like, maybe how they did it, that maybe they sent out like a newsletter like, hey, if you guys want to be involved, like on a site-wide sale,
right,
give us your permission, or if they just went ahead and did it like Steam does.
I don't know. None of that's in the article, so...
I've never really looked at their user agreements for that side of things.
Oh, I don't either. I just go on there and play awesome, amazing games.
Do you play a lot of games on itch.io?
I play a lot of itch.io and GameJolt are actually the two sites that I go to the majority of the time. When
itch.io
I play
more
indie
than
games.
GameJolt for me. I do like the way they allow you to curate your own library, basically.
Yeah.
Especially as press.
And I feel like those sites, it's more inviting in terms of, hey, this is just a weird thing that I worked on. I'm not actually looking to sell it. I just want people to play it and give me feedback. Like, I feel like there's a lot more of that going on, where there's a lot more experimentation than just, here's a shitty game that I pumped out in 12 hours. Please give me $5.
Right.
So, that's just me.
You're saying they do or don't do that?
They don't do that.
On itch.io.
Correct.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are some pretty shovelware-ish games on there.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like their system's a little different. And from what I've seen, it's mainly the majority of the games I've played. It's more of like a tip jar, where it's like if you like this, then you can. If not, then it's free. It's whatever. That's yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Do you play a lot of games on itch.io, Josh?
I played a few. I sometimes get press keys from developers through itch.io who can't get on Steam, or the game's not ready to be on Steam yet.
Actually, it reminds me, the way they allow it curated, I feel like maybe Steam took some things from them with their curator, how they do curators now.
Like forcibly? Just forcibly took it?
I guess, sure. Which, I mean, is a good thing in my opinion, because I'm really enjoying the curator thing on Steam, the way they've changed it so far. So, Leaf, I've been trying to get Leaf Corcoran, I think is how you pronounce his last name, the guy who made itch.io, on our show to interview him for a while now, but I can never get a hold of him. So, everyone who listens to this, tweet at Leaf, say, hey, go on at IGR Podcast, that's the Twitter handle, an interview with them, or something like that.
Or maybe, are you hiding something?
Yeah.
Did you murder somebody and you're part of some sort of FBI conspiracy sting?
Do an interview with Indie Game Riot, or are you hiding something?
I mean, that's it. Do you have dead bodies in your basement? That's all I want to know. I mean, it's...
Are you the next? Are you the next Bundy?
There you go.
Yeah.
Simple questions. There's very.
You heard it here first, folks. Indie Game Riot, Leaf Corcoran, Ted Bundy of the indie game scene.
Dead bodies in his basement.
That's not true. Don't sue me.
Defamation of character.
But then it turns out he is, and I'm like, well.
Yeah, right. See, that's how that movie would go.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, oh, fire sale, this guy, he's an asshole. And then like 2 months later, it's like, we actually found bodies in this guy's basement. How did Josh know? Then you want to interview Josh, but you can't because he's already dead because somebody sniped him. Boom.
What?
TM. Copyright. Don't take that.
Did you
TM.
put out
TM.
a hitman on me?
TM. That's copyright all that information.
All right.
Got a movie coming out next summer.
You know what else is trademark?
Your part, so.
Hey, that's fine. He did a pretty good job in Jumanji, from what I've heard. People were pleasantly surprised about Jumanji.
It looks good. I always enjoy Jumanji.
You know what?
Jumanji?
Kind of looks good, depending on your.
No, none of this. Nothing that is coming up in the next minute and a half is going to be good. So,
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds PUBG 1.0 coming out on Steam this evening.
What does that mean?
It might already be out. I'm not sure. What?
What does that mean?
It's out of early access. It is fully released.
So that means that the $60 copy I buy for my Xbox One, that's the 1.0, right?
I think that's going to come out a little bit later.
Yeah, so it's still early access, but $60.
Well, you know, I felt the same way about Ark, when they came out with fucking DLC.
Yeah, and we talked about
access.
this. That's a trash bag way of doing things.
But I mean, when you have that many players, the call to do that is probably pretty irresistible, and they've made millions and millions.
Nope.
Through, I mean, they have freaking before it even came out of early access, they already had competitive esport. They already have pro players. I'm talking like professional teams like Cloud9 and Liquid.
Professional.
It's crazy. But anyway, PUBG 1.0 going live this evening. If it hasn't already, it will soon. 11 p.m. Pacific time, so it has not yet, but it will.
It has not yet.
But it will this evening. Or this morning if you're on the East Coast, like everyone who's normal. All right, well, last thing I want to talk about, which I actually forgot to put the thing in, but oh well. The last thing I want to talk about is we talked about last week about doing Riot of the Year voting, which is basically Game of the Year for those of you who don't know. And we narrowed it down to 12 games. There currently is a poll. It's stickied on the front page of our website. Again, indiegameriot.com. If you go there, you can vote for your favorite game out of the 12 that we're going to mention. And if Prep could link that in chat, that would be appreciated for that particular post on there while I'm trying to get the
Posted by PollDaddy.com.
Well, no.
There should be a write-in section so I could put Hidden Folks on here.
There it is.
There's not a write-in section.
That's what I wanted. There, professional. Riot of the Year, that's a low-res thing because it's all zoomed up, but whatever. Anyway, Riot of the Year is our Game of the Year, and currently we have... let me open... Copy link.
Oh, do you mean like the total number of...
What? Oh, yeah.
Were you
12.
talking about the total number of votes, or...
No, the total number of games we have.
12.
The finalists, we narrowed it down to the Metronomicon, excuse me, Night in the Woods, Owlboy, Limelight, What Remains of Edith Finch, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Cuphead, A Hat in Time, One Shot, Boss 101, Planet Coaster, and Thimbleweed Park. Those are the 12 that we came down to. So, how this works. Again, if you go to that post, the link that he just put in chat there, and for those of you listening to the recorded version, it'll be in the description. You go and you can vote once per day for your favorite game that you want to win. By the 26th, that's when this ends, I believe I said, we'll tally up the votes, and then we will take the votes will take up most of, of what determines who wins. But then Eric and I will also vote, and our votes will count as 10%. Just to weight it a little bit, so there's to prevent a little bit from people basically like pandering, for votes or whatever. I'm not sure if that's the right word. Anyway, the other thing is if you vote and then tweet at us with hashtag Riot of the Year, and then tell us who you voted for, that'll put you in with a chance to win a free game of your choice, which is also linked in that the list of games that you'd be able to choose from is linked in that article as well. So, Josh, out of those 12 games, you may or may not have played them all. Do you have a particular favorite?
I think of the 12, probably Cuphead would be my favorite.
Cuphead? So that's a valid, solid choice.
I say, you try to get a vote out of him already?
I mean, he can vote. He's allowed to vote.
Man.
What about you, Eric?
Oh, I already voted.
For?
Well, I'm not going to say.
You voted for something that's not even on the list.
There should be a write-in section.
For hidden
There should be a
polls.
write-in section. I capitalized that title for a reason, Josh.
Well,
ignored.
Technically, yeah, because technically I said, and I quote, I don't know if that's a quote or not, but I did say that has to be from our Starting the Riot section. That was in Going Mobile.
I was starting a riot for it, yeah.
That was in Going Mobile.
Totally makes sense. No, come on. Fine. It's on Steam as well.
There you go. Anyone in chat, feel free to let us know who you think would like to win. That'd be good. I voted for Night in the Woods.
That's a really good game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. That's another one like Oxenfree that was in a lot of circles as Game of the Year in general. I think it was up for that in the Game Awards voting and some other stuff too, like the Golden Joysticks and stuff like that. But I'm a sucker for narrative and adventure-y type stuff. So that's my vote. But don't let that deter you if you think any of the other games, because if there's enough, it could win.
What did you think of Thimbleweed Park?
That kind of suffered for me. It was a great game. I'll put that out there. But it kind of suffered from the nostalgic factor in the same way that Yooka-Laylee did, where it took a game that figured people would enjoy because of the nostalgia, but didn't fix the stuff that old games that were crap in the old games. And I really do not like Sierra interfaces, which Ron Gilbert, obviously, I mean, that's what they do.
I mean, yeah, he basically created that interface from the ground up with the verbs and the nouns and that kind of thing. Yep.
And I mean, I get it because he made this game along with other people, but so why not, between that and nostalgia, why not use the same interface? But I don't like it. I can't. The LucasArts interface was much better in my opinion. With Tim Schafer and that sort of stuff. So I think that was the one thing I didn't like. I also thought the voice acting was kind of iffy in some cases, especially for the main characters. Maybe that's just me being picky because of my voice acting background. I don't know, but I thought it was kind of iffy. And if you're going to make a big game like that, maybe you should be able to find someone who can do a better job. It's like, it seems like they just took people in their studio and were like, hey, voice this, I don't know.
What I was talking about in chat, looks like Nine in the Woods got updated with a director's cut. I still haven't had a chance to play that game yet.
Ooh. Some on the list don't seem like true indies. Well, the only one that I would question being truly indie maybe is Planet Coaster. Because I think it had a pretty significant backer, if I'm not mistaken. Thimbleweed Park is Ron Gilbert, but it was, I mean...
They did a Kickstarter, didn't they?
Yeah, it was Kickstarter, and for all intents and purposes, it's solely made and funded, and everything was done by them, from what I can tell. Hellblade looks like AAA, but Ninja Theory, that they made that with the intent of being indie. Ninja Theory has always been one for most games that's kind of gone back and forth between AAA and indie, as far as because they've worked on AAA games, but this particular game was made with the intent of being indie. Everything else is definitely indie. Looking through it, like those are, I mean, What Remains of Edith Finch, obviously the studio is well known, but I mean, indie. Though, as we've discussed too, indie, the definition of indie is very
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had discussions like that on my weekly show as well. It always goes on for a very long time.
It never gets solved, and probably never will be. So, unless someone puts a law out there that says what indie is. Well, that said, again, go vote for Riot of the Year 2017, and pick your favorite to win.
I did.
All right. Well, you know what else is pretty cool?
Not anymore. All hope is lost.
I don't know. Segways. And starting a riot.
Segways. I'm starting a riot.
This week on Starting the Riot, we're talking about Reigns, Her Majesty. This is the sequel to Reigns, if you haven't guessed. It is basically fantasy Tinder. That's how I've seen it put. Swipe left for no, swipe right for yes, I think it is, generally speaking. And the point of the game is that you have these different situations. So people come up to you or events happen, and you have to make a decision as the monarch of this particular kingdom. And you need to do your best to balance faith, your citizens, your military, and your treasury. And if any of those fall to 0, you lose, and you are dead, literally, to the kingdom. And it's kind of roguelike in that way, because then the next heir takes over, and you start again, try again, with different scenarios. In this case, you are a queen, hence Her Majesty. You know what? By the way, and this is made by Nerial. If you don't read the screen, if you're just listening to audio. It's kind of weird. I just want to put this out there that it had mixed reviews for a little bit, because people felt that they pushed the fact that it's a queen instead of king, like, in their faces. Like, they were like, it mentions it like every chance they get. And I feel like they're the same people that complained that the female Ghosters was bad because it's female, and instead of the fact that it was bad because it was just
It's just
bad.
a shit movie, yeah.
So, maybe don't take that with a grain of salt. I just thought I'd put that out there. And if you're one of those people, shut the fuck up. Like, really, come on, it's a game.
So this is if you took Crusader Kings and just boiled it down to tender.
Like they're trying to make it like there's some sort of agenda here.
That's cool.
They're just trying to convert their children to feminists. Is that a thing? I don't know. Have either of you played Reigns, the first one, or this one?
No, I'm interested in this though. This looks really cool.
It's the first one is also on mobile. I don't know if this is on mobile yet. If you're interested in doing that, every time you swipe, a year goes by in game. There's some interesting things too. It reminds me. There's a free game if you want to kind of get the gist of minus the swiping aspect. There's a free game that kinda is a simplified version of this called something in the court. It's on Game Jolt. Now I can't think of it. But anyway, the point is that you're making decisions to help or hurt your kingdom in various ways, piss people off, whatever, that sort of thing. It's pretty simple, to be honest. Published by Devolver Digital, who obviously have good taste almost all the time in games.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a game they published where I was just like, "Oh, this looks awful."
Nothing I've said that looks awful. There's things that I'm like, okay, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, just like I'm not into this, but I can see the appeal. But never like this just looks terrible. Like I've never seen a game like that.
Like if you're looking for a publisher, if you're looking for a publisher, Devolver and Tiny Build seem to have really good taste.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have their tastes may not align with your game. Who knows? But they're a good place to look if you're looking for that kind of thing.
And me, I mean, I'm,
yeah,
unparticular, but
any thoughts on? I'm trying to see if there's any other random information about Reigns that I meant to talk about.
I like the art style.
Yeah,
Like that.
interesting.
Yeah, it's super simplistic. I dig that. I dig that the developers are, looking elsewhere when it comes to graphic appeal rather than just going with like a, pixelated 16-bit or like a 3D polygon. I like the weird in-betweens. Yeah,
and this game is a really good example of something that can translate well between PC and mobile. I think we talked about that a bit last week about porting things and how it's weird that something is free on mobile but you have to pay $5 on Steam.
Right. It's just a different market.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of making a game that will do well on all platforms. So if you're into that sort of thing, maybe look at them for inspiration. Swipe left and swipe right, rule your kingdom, increasing complex politics.
So Josh, would you swipe left or swipe right? Reigns or Majesty?
I would swipe right on Reigns or Majesty. I've never actually used Tinder. I was married before Tinder was a thing. So, I think it's right that says
I went
yes.
to the bar and picked up chicks.
Back in my day, I walked uphill to the bar in the snow.
We closed the bar down.
I clubbed her over the head and dragged her back to my cave. That's I'm going to get arrested.
Now you're dating yourself, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that, you know what? Speaking of clubbing people over the head, like in Neanderthal, the game we've got coming up next in Peep Show is in that time frame. So here we go. Peep Show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
This week on Peep Show, we're looking into a game called Prehistoric Kingdom, which by all intents and purposes is a builder game. What do you call them now? Tycoon simulators, because there's a word for it now. For Jurassic Park. There's really no other way to explain it. It's Jurassic Park, and it's amazing.
Assuming they don't fuck it up, which I guess is true for any game. But assuming they don't fuck it up, I'm really excited for this because I loved, Tycoon. I love Tycoon games. I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon, and the people that made Roller Coaster Tycoon, I believe it's the same people, made Zoo Tycoon, and that's what this reminds me of, Zoo Tycoon. And except now it's dinosaurs. Do you like
dinosaurs make everything better?
Yeah, pretty much. Do you like super like micromanaging type of tycoon games, or would you rather just like overarching like control? This is posed at both of you.
Neither.
Neither?
No.
You don't play tycoon games?
No, I don't play tycoon games.
Do you play games?
Do I play games?
Yeah.
Man, do I play games?
I don't play any video games.
No.
Depends on if they're indie. I don't know if the games are play or indie or not.
I feel like that fence in the gameplay would not hold that thing in.
No.
So here, like when it comes to like the tycoon games, like I enjoy them up to a point. Like I enjoy what it's, what the game isn't. So like the second like any kind of like real challenge starts to come by when I play a tycoon game, like I don't want to play it anymore. Like I just want to tell people what to do, let them do their thing, and then everything's fine. But the second like somebody comes in and tries to take something that I've created or steal from me, or there's acts of God, it's like I don't want to play anymore. Like
well, wait, hold on. So you're like, okay, I understand you don't like the things that are out of control, right? That's what you're saying.
Sure.
Okay. But in tycoon games, the whole point of it is that you have full control over everything.
Right. But there's also things that you don't have control over.
Like what?
So the one that comes to mind, obviously, is like SimCity.
Okay.
So like when you're playing SimCity...
But that's not a tycoon game.
Why not?
That's a city builder.
I guess, how would you define a tycoon game versus a city builder?
I don't want to define words anymore.
Definitions.
What's the big one that like hit everything?
Big one of what?
It was the big tycoon game that like.
It was Roller Coaster Tycoon was like the big tycoon game.
No, it was recent. It was like a resurgence in like
Planet
the
Coaster.
Simulator. Was it Planet Coaster? No.
City Skylines?
No. See, to me, those are all city builders.
Well, City Skylines is a city builder.
Yeah.
Planet Coaster is a tycoon. Anyway, while he's looking that up, Prehistoric Kingdom is by Shadow Raven Studios. It is currently on Kickstarter with, let me get to it, 15 days ago. Mm-hmm. They're looking for $55,000, and they currently are at $35,722. So if you are interested in helping out Prehistoric Kingdom be made, head to their Kickstarter page, which will be linked.
Tropico. That's what I was thinking.
Tropico is a city builder, not a tycoon.
I don't know the definition then.
City builders, I mean, when you're talking about city builders, you're talking about like urban planning. This is, I mean, you're planning out layouts and stuff like that, but this is more like running a business in this case.
It's more, I think, squared down.
So it's like Dope Wars.
Yeah. I would say that's closer to a tycoon game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's stupid, but yes. I hate it. That's that browser game, right?
Well, it used to be an old, like, QBasic computer game from like way back in the day, and then somebody just remade it as a browser version. But
I think what's very funny, the chat's on about SimCity and Dungeon Keeper, the mobile. And over the last 2 weeks, I played both SimCity 2013 and I downloaded that mobile Dungeon Keeper to see how bad it was. So I had to get double the pain there.
And see, to me, looking at Prehistoric Kingdom, this to me looks like a SimCity game. Like you're building this.
Okay, I can see that in the gameplay that you're watching now. Why it would remind you of that? But I mean, that's just it's a simple part of. I don't know. I don't know how far they get into this video. No. I mean, and that's part of. I mean, you laying out your park is part of a tycoon, in this case.
So that's the part of the game that I like to play. I like the building part, but the second anything real happens, I walk away.
Well, the other part of a tycoon game outside of laying it out and the planning aspect, is like worrying about your financials and the operations of your park. So you have to, okay, well, what ticket prices are people willing to pay? What are the customers saying? Do I need to improve
that's the
something?
part of the game I don't like, because it's like I have no control over that. Like I can't help it.
Well, you can control it, because the point is like, well, if they don't like it, then I need to improve something. That's under your control. Yeah, if you do it well, which is your control, then they'll like it. It's not random.
I disagree.
It's not an RNG.
There's definitely some randomness to it. There's got to be.
I mean, what game doesn't actually have some form of RNG in it? But the point is that it's not like I understand SimCity, because then random fucking disasters come and wipe out half your city. I get that. But in this case, that's not a thing. This is all fully like tycoon games are so under your control that some people don't like it, because it's like it's so micromanaging.
You're saying that the game that I've been wanting to play is a tycoon game, but all of the games that I think are tycoon games aren't actually tycoon.
I highly suggest, because it sounds like you've never played Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I have not.
I highly suggest playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, even like the first one, like the original. I think there's like an HD remake of it. Play that.
Deluxe? Is it a deluxe?
It might have like all three in the deluxe. The deluxe might have the expansions or something, something like that. But play Roller Coaster Tycoon. If you don't like it, then don't play any tycoon games ever again.
Apparently, I've never played one.
But anyway, so other things about their Kickstarter. They have anywhere from $1 reward tier, which is just basically a thank you, all the way up to 1,250.
Which so it's limited of only 50 of those, and somebody actually purchased that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that, cool. So if you want to pay $1,250, if you are Mr. Moneybags or Mrs. Moneybags, you can choose between one of 8 official Prehistoric Kingdom statues to receive. So I'm assuming they actually have made, like, it's a physical statue that they will print. They will 3D print, paint it by hand. It's going to be 30 centimeters. You can get a T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Camarasaurus. I'm going to try and pronounce these and fail. Deinonychus, Mosasaurus, Dimetrodon, Mammothus, and Cylodon.
I'm glad you try and pronounce it.
Yeah, I was like, why are you doing that?
Yep. Those are the ones that you can pick from. And then, of course, you get everything from the other tiers as well, it looks like. And they'll ship it to anywhere in the world.
So it's reached almost 36,000 on a goal of 55. The cheapest tier to pledge to get a copy of the game is $20. That's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
And it does say that it was inspired by Jurassic Park, Operation Genesis, and Zoo Tycoon 2. This project takes elements seen in previous titles and implements them into a new world, expanding upon these ideas so that players can truly build the ultimate zoo of their dreams. Prehistoric Kingdom's refreshing setting.
And it seems there's a little bit more freedom in building, from what I can see, because some of the older tycoon games were a little bit rigid, probably because of limitations, technologically speaking. is what I'm trying to say. They do have, which I always appreciate. By the way, if anyone out there who's listening to this are looking to kickstart a game, a lot of devs watch, so I understand. Always put your budget breakdown, because transparency is very important in Kickstarters for obvious reasons. Or they should be obvious. If they're not obvious to you, don't kickstart a game. So their budget breakdown is listed pie chart style. The majority of the money, 24.6 thousand, is going towards art assets. The significant chunks are going towards programming and licensing and fees, which is licensing for probably a lot of the programs that they're using. Next up is audio. After that, buffer, I would assume, which actually is a good idea. Buffer is basically saying, okay, in case there's unexpected expenses, and then after that, rewards fulfillment, which has to do with making the Kickstarter rewards. And I believe there's Kickstarter takes a percentage as well, so you have to remember that. It explains what a buffer. As a small indie team, a buffer is extremely valuable as it can cover any unforeseen or required expenses. Can include addition of new team members, coverage of additional unanticipated assets, and unexpected fees or licenses. So, really good idea, and I'm glad they took the time to explain what that was. So they're super transparent on their Kickstarter, which is really nice to see. For those of you who are arguing what what indie is, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people on their team. Pretty indie, it seems.
So that's 9 too many.
Maybe to someone, yeah. Any other things that you want to talk about for Prehistoric Kingdom? What's your favorite dinosaur?
I mean, I was always been a big fan of the Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Like that long neck.
How about you, Josh?
I always liked the Velociraptors after watching Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I like how smart they are.
So smart.
Supposed to be. Is it Dilophosaurus? What's the giant underwater meat eating thing?
Oh man,
I have no idea.
That was the one I liked.
The movie wasn't that good, so I spaced out.
I guess the big question I have for this game is there going to be a disaster simulator? Are we going to actually get the dinosaurs running amok if you don't do your job right?
So I would assume, because what would happen in Roller Coaster Tycoon if you didn't finish your roller coaster and just let people on it? They would fucking launch off and die.
Nice.
But that's,
which realistically is the best part of that game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I spent time getting angry, and I don't know, maybe I was a little disturbed or something, and I would pick him up and drop him in the water and let him drown.
Yeah.
You stupid fuck. If they got lost or something, I'm like, all right, you son of a bitch, just die. Yeah, don't let me play The Sims. Though everyone sets the house on fire with them without a door.
Yeah.
I can just see myself leaving one panel fencing completely miss it, put the T-Rex down, just walks right out, and the fun starts.
I have to imagine
the fence is down,
because I have to imagine that that's something that they would do. However, I will say that Planet Coaster kind of took the fun out of that aspect, because they don't let you launch rides unless they're finished. Which I didn't appreciate. That was probably one downfall of that game. I was like, come on, man, be a little bit realistic with it. And they don't let you. They'll let you launch them, but only as a test, and it'll fly off and explode into sparkles, literally. So, I mean, whatever. If the devs ever hear this of Prehistoric Kingdom,
let us kill people.
Let the dinosaurs loose if you're stupid enough or evil enough to not put the fence up. Just saying. Anyway.
Let's be terrible people.
You know what we can do as terrible people?
So we can go mobile as terrible people.
Yeah, go mobile.
Huh?
This week on Going Mobile, we're talking about Miracle Merchant. Oh, shit. The volume's on. Turn it off. There it is. Miracle Merchant by Arnold Rowers?
Yeah, Rowers. That's Rowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
The point is, first of all, you can get it for free on iOS and Android. However, it is limited to just like one. Like there are tasks that you can have in the game, like make a triple potion where you use 3 different colors in your potion, sort of thing. But, and I'll get into more of that later. But to get basically like the full experience, it is $1.99. That said, the point of the game is you are an apprentice for a potion shop, and you use the different ingredients, which are the cards on the bottom of the screen, to make potions. People come over to the counter. You see these little speech bubbles that have different symbols in them. The red upside down heart is for a red ingredient, yellow diamond for the yellow ingredient, green for, et cetera, et cetera. In order to make a potion for them without losing, you have to use the ingredient that they have in the top speech bubble. So in the gameplay right now that you're seeing, he has a green one in the top speech bubble, I think that is. So you have to have at least one green ingredient in order to not lose. The bottom one is for bonus points, or coins in this case. There are also black cards in the game that take points away from the potion. If you cannot make a potion that at least gets 1 point or 1 coin, you lose. And it sounds like it's easy, but as you go through, you only have a certain amount of cards in each pile, and if someone wants a red ingredient and you have run out of red cards, then you're going to lose. Or if you happen to have, because the black cards show up in each color pile randomly, it's like shuffled in, and if you have black cards on top of the ones that you need, you have to put the black card down, and that might screw you up points-wise or coins-wise. Who knows? Some customers actually require that you need a black one, in which case you need to find a way to negate the negative on the black ingredient, because each ingredient, each black one gives you like a -1, -2, or -3, depending on what card it is. Each card also has symbols at the bottom. Some are like on the side of the bottom. So like that green one you're seeing has a yellow thing on the side. That means if you put a yellow card next to it, that's bonus coins. Or if they're on the bottom, like you've seen there with the black one and the red one, if that means that'll take bonus coins from any of those colors that just happen to be in the potion in general. You get bonus coins for putting 2 of the same color together, or putting one of each color. It's called a rainbow. It makes a rainbow potion if you make a red, yellow, blue, and green all together, that sort of thing. It's pretty addicting and it's fun, and it's more challenging than it seems. I've only beat it once for the free version, because I always end up running out of one of the cards and getting screwed over. So, what do you guys think?
Dig the art style.
Yeah. It is nice.
Sounds really cool.
Looks pretty interesting.
It is actually, by the way, it's up for a lot of awards for Game of the Year in the mobile scene, or at least Indie Game of the Year on the mobile scene. I know on the Android store, it was, I think there were one of 5 games that were like mobile Indie Game of the Year, which is pretty cool. So congrats to Arnold for that. I think it's pretty unique too. I mean, it's kind of a puzzle game.
Looking at his other games, it seems like the card games are kind of his thing. His other three games they're all card based as well.
Well, I mean,
similar idea.
Even though they're like cards to symbolize the ingredients, is it really a card game?
Sure.
I mean, you could just as easily make them not cards.
But he didn't. He made him cards, like the other 3 of his games.
You know what would be cool though? I bet he could take this game and put it into like a physical game.
I mean, yeah, you could be physically just pouring potions if you wanted to.
Just like Exploding Kittens.
Sure.
You know. But I'm
Cool.
saying like he can make like a box game, like a tabletop.
Oh, you're talking about turning into like a physical game,
Yeah. That's what I meant.
not a mobile game. Gotcha.
Why do people say mobile? Well, that's so pretentious.
I mean, that's how the rest of the world
Mobile.
says it. So,
No,
anyhow,
everyone
Nothing
uses
like that.
the imperial system and drives on the right side.
wow. Okay, so there's only 2 countries in the whole world that drive on the right side. Just so you know.
America. Nah.
And America is one of them. You were correct, sir.
What's the other country?
Oh, it's they just
Canada.
actually converted not too long ago.
Canada drives on the right side.
Do they?
I'm pretty
Canada doesn't
sure. I'm
count,
pretty sure there are
though.
plenty. Oh, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of countries that drive on the right side.
I think so.
I think so.
All right, let's just do a
The
quick
imperial system's one thing, but
okay, there are more.
Yeah.
India, Australia, Africa, United Kingdom, Ireland, Malta. Malta was the one I remembered. And
Sucker.
then the U.S. Well, one of them just changed recently because something to do with the cars, used cars that they get from a different country, driving on a different side of the road. So they decided to switch over because it was easier to buy those cars, or they were cheaper, or something. I can't remember. 99% Invisible is a podcast you might enjoy.
well, this is the end of the show.
It is.
And first, I would like to thank Josh for joining us as a guest. Appreciate you coming on and putting up with our bullshit. Again,
A lot of it tonight.
Go check out Game Wisdom on YouTube and what is it, game-wisdom.com?
Yes.
For his website. You can check out his podcast there, and his gameplay footage was on YouTube. You also do a lot of live stuff on YouTube that you can check out, and it's good stuff. I checked out one of the shows. It was a good conversation. A lot of definitely more technical than we are, I think. We are less devs and more fans. So if you're into the technical stuff, you might enjoy Game Wisdom.
And I'm going to go do some game streaming once we are done talking as well.
Look at that.
Damn. Just hang up, did you
Busy
say?
man.
Uh,
Busy man.
So if you enjoy the show, but first of all, I'd also like to thank the new people that came in chat because of Josh. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy our show. And when you're not watching Josh, I hope you join us. We stream every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time.
And watch our Josh.
And watch this. Yeah, the better Josh.
Oh, I actually
Man, I
know
don't
another
know.
Josh too.
We'll
I
see.
think when
I
you
know
were
like
on,
1,000 Joshes.
We had the 3 Joshes on at that point.
That sounds like
Isn't
that
it
sounds like a
pronounced
sitcom.
Joshai? Isn't that the plural? Joshai?
Joshai. If you enjoy our show, you can help us out multiple different ways. We are on patreon.com/Indie Game Riot. They're bullshit, by the way, in case you haven't heard, with the transaction fees or whatever was going on. They reversed that, so that's no longer an issue, which is nice.
Apologize profusely.
Yet they have apologized and will not be doing that. So you can support us that way without feeling guilty or angry or whatever. Patreon.com/Indie Game Riot. If you have news or people that we should talk to, or any games that we should check out, you can always contact us multiple different ways. We're on Twitter at IGR Podcast, Facebook.com/IGR Podcast, and of course email contact@IndieGameRiot.com. I mentioned the Steam Curator thing has changed significantly. We have a Steam Curator page and a Steam group page, both of which are really cool. The Steam Curator page recently passed 1,000 followers. So people must like the games that we're putting up on there. So you want to join that? That'd be cool too.
There you go.
And lastly, we're on Discord, which can be found on IndieGameRiot.com. The link to the server. You can join that. Or perhaps still in chat, you can link it in the chat as well for anyone who is interested. Any last words, gentlemen? And Josh is on Twitter at GW if you don't have eyes. You can't see the screen. Josh, is there anything, any other information I missed that you would like people to know about for you?
Sure. My live show that we do, I have my own co-host, Rob. He does video game producing as well as he streams ARPGs. Our show is now Sunday afternoons at 2:30 EST on YouTube. And We talk news of the week, game topics, the whole shebang there. And I also have my own Patreon as well, patreon.com/GLBbycer. Basically, we have like simple tiers. $1 gets you into voting for games I play on Saturday night. We have a private Discord channel where we hang out and talk video game and design topics on a day-to-day basis. And just kind of a way of supporting everything that I do with Game Wisdom.
There you go. There you have it. You like games. We're the people to talk to. By the way, just keep it in the back of your mind too. Indie Revolution Expo, the planning is going to be starting up very soon in January, probably after I get back from MagFest. So if you don't know what Indie Revolution Expo is, again, go to indiegameriot.com. There's information on the website. It's one of the tabs up top. So, anything for you, Eric, that you would like to talk about?
No.
Before we leave, you're just grumpy. You're just a grumpy old man. That's all right.
Yeah, well, I know. Just support the games you love and stay indie. There you go. That's usually what I say.
Stay indie unless you have money or are well known or are
have more than one developer.
If you have made a game already, once your game is completed, you're no longer indie.
Sorry.
All right, say your goodbyes, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Toodles.